The Surya SIddhanta talks about something called the day and night of the pitrus, the pitaras. What exactly is that? Let's take a look in stellarium. To understand the day and night of the pitaras, you have to focus on the moon. And that's what I have done. I have focused on the moon, and I am showing you moon on the day of Amavasya, time of Amavasya. The side of the moon facing us is completely dark. Now I'm going to run my animation, and you see Shukla Paksha is in progress. And you see a very thin crescent moon on the right hand side here. The moon is waxing. But now I'm going to do something interesting. I am showing you a map of the moon. Various locations of the moon have been highlighted here. So this Mare Tranquillitatis is where Apollo 11 landed. The first moon landing happened here. But I'm going to pick this place called Mare Crisium, which is on the extreme right side of the moon. And I invite you to join me at Mare Crisium. Now, what is a mare? It is a Latin word and it means a sea. So it's a very big open plain. The rest of the part of the moon is very rough, but here the surface is very smooth. But there is no water there. But the important point you need to do now is, if you are standing at Mare Crisium, what you need to observe is it is night at Mare Crisium. That's why it's dark. And this part, it's already daylight. So daylight is approaching, morning is approaching, sunrise is approaching Mare Crisium. So it's approaching, and there, day begins at Mare Crisium. So what we think is the waxing of the moon is actually daylight is spreading over the surface of the moon. Because if you stand there on the surface of the moon, then it is daylight spreading on the surface of the moon. Okay, so day starts at Mare Crisium. Let's continue. The moon is waxing, and as I told you, if you are on the surface of the moon, it is daylight spreading all over. But this entire period, it is day in Mare Crisium, a single day time in Mare Crisium. But it's practically the whole of Shukla Paksha, and you are approaching Purnima now. There you go, that's Purnima. And now Krishna Paksha has started, but this entire period, it was daytime in Mare Crisium. So now if I zoom back into Mare Crisium, you and me are standing there. It's daytime, but night is approaching because this part is night. So night is approaching, and there. Now daytime ends and night begins at Mare Crisium. And how long did the lunar daytime last? 14.78 Earth days. So 14.78 days on the surface of the Earth was the single day time at Mare Crisium on the surface of the moon. Why is this important? Why am I talking about this? Because the Surya SIddhanta talks about this. Here is a shloka from the Surya SIddhanta which says, the Devas and the Asuras behold the sun after it is once risen for half a year. The pitaras who have their station in the moon for half a month, and men upon the earth during their own day. So what this is saying is that the pitrus, the pitaras, they are on the surface of the moon. They are stationed on the moon. That means the moon is Pitruloka. This is an ancient tradition. It's no longer very much in use, but it is there in the Surya SIddhanta. And it says that the pitaras, because they are stationed on the moon, they behold the sun for half a month. The month they are referring to here is a Chandramasa, and half a month is the duration of a Paksha, 14.75 on an average across an entire year. And that's what I showed you, that there was daylight, daytime on Mare Crisium for 14.78 days. And this is mentioned there in the Surya SIddhanta, which was written 1,600 years back, at least 1,600 years back. Good. Now let's continue with our simulation. Now it's night time in Mare Crisium. Let's see how long night lasts. The moon is waning, waning, waning. But during this entire Krishna Paksha, it's night here in Mare Crisium. That's what is important to us now. Not the waxing and waning, but it's night in Mare Crisium. And now it's Amavasya almost. There you go, that's Amavasya. And now again, next Shukla Paksha has started. A couple of days into the next Shukla Paksha, I zoom in again into Mare Crisium. You see, it's night. But day is approaching, and there you go. Night ends, day begins at Mare Crisium. And how long was the lunar night time? 14.8 Earth days. That's the duration of a Paksha again. On an average, a Paksha is 14.75 days across an entire year. So the duration of one Paksha, it is daytime on Mare Crisium. Another Paksha, it's night time. The actual time when it starts may differ. Yeah, I mean, if you are standing somewhere here at Rime, Gutenberg, it will take a few more hours before daytime starts. So I can't say Shukla Paksha is day, Krishna Paksha is night. That depends on where you are standing on the surface of the moon. But the duration of a Paksha is definitely the duration of daytime, and the duration of the next Paksha is the duration of the night time. Once again, I will show you in Surya SIddhanta, there is another shloka which says, of 30 lunar days is composed the Chandramasa, which is declared to be a day and night of the Pitaras. And that's exactly what I showed you. I showed you a day and night of the Pitaras, and the two put together is a Chandramasa. Because remember, I started this simulation with a thin crescent moon, and I'm ending the simulation with the next thin crescent moon. So that means one Chandramasa is completed, and that is what is being mentioned in the Surya SIddhanta. Now, the fact that 14 days and a little bit more is daytime on the surface of the moon is actually very well known to most of us. You know why? Do you remember Chandrayaan? Now, Chandrayaan 3 landed on the surface of the moon. Pragyan rover came out of Chandrayaan 3 lander to do experiments on the moon's surface for how many days? 14 days. And there you go. That's the duration of a Paksha approximately, because on the 15th day, night is going to set in. And why did the Pragyan rover wait? Because it was powered by solar panels. It needed sunlight. And how long do you get sunlight? 14 days and a few more hours. That's what happened with Pragyan rover, and that is what is mentioned in the Surya SIddhanta, that there will be sunlight for the duration of one Paksha. That is mentioned in the Surya SIddhanta, which was written 1,600 years back, at least 1,600 years back. How fantastic is that?